Hello and welcome to DarkMouse's Daily Scroll with me, DarkMouse. Just me, I'm afraid. No one else is here today, so we're going to jump right into it, and we are going to look for a ranked or a quick match. And what are we going to find? We found a ranked match! Sweet. Nice enough. Again, this is all post-production, so I am working off what I can see. We find it so much easier to do that than live audio, I'm afraid. It means I can spend a lot more time concentrating on the game, and hopefully it's a more enjoyable game to watch. Again, Thef and Hanaconda are not here today, they're in London, so wishing them all the best and hope they have fun. So this is the format the videos are going to take this week, where basically it'll just be me recording and post-producing the audio while Thefia and Hanaconda are away. Today is double gold, so that means that every match will earn you twice what it normally does, win or lose. I think that applies to the trials as well. I think I've tried the trial on the double gold, and I'm fairly sure I managed to get double gold, considering when I was meant to get 400 I got around 800, which was quite nice. So that means that if you're after a particular set of cards, if you want that thing, if you want that particular card from the the every third day deal, we'll call it the tri-daily deal because it doesn't actually have a name. So tri-daily deal, if you want a card from there, now is the time to do it. You can get a ton of gold, you can get tons of gold just by losing a load of games. Or hell, play a load of the trials if you haven't yet. That will earn you a ton of gold. And if you're wanting a new pre-constructed deck to sort of spice up your own, now is one of the best times to play an absolute ton of games and get that gold. Or alternatively, to buy cards from other players. Which is a thing now, apparently. Well, it probably already has been a thing, but I didn't realise it until last night. So that's not too bad. So yeah, this week, I will generally be, sorry, not we, I'm too used to saying that now. I will generally be focusing on games that I'm personally looking forward to that are coming out soon. Games that I'm playing that I'm looking forward to playing more of, that I'm quite enjoying, that I think you guys will probably enjoy, and just really, yeah, that's kind of about it. Probably going over a few other issues and stuff like that. I mean, I'll probably talk about DLC a little bit today, and that will be today's show mainly. So, what else have we got here? I'm playing as an older fella. That's not too bad. And so I've got like a kind of nice strong start here, which is kind of what you want. It's quite nice. So early game, really, generally not too bad. Let's just hope I don't screw myself over really. Alright, cool. So this week, I've been playing a little bit of Cube World recently, and Cube World is, well, it's kind of cool. It's the guys who made it say they've taken like inspiration from Zelda and from Minecraft and stuff, and I can believe it. It's really quite a nice game. It's quite pretty. It's all voxel based, so everything should be destructible. Of course, for some reason, attacking it doesn't destroy it. Well, attacking it doesn't destroy it. That's fair enough. You can buy bombs though, and those bombs can destroy the voxels, so you can break open rocks, bust down trees. It's all good. And the general premise of the game is there's no actual like quests as such. It's an RPG. It's basically an RPG Minecraft. It's Minecraft done RPG, and it's really quite cool. I mean, the races that are available, they've got a lot of races available, and none of them give particular benefits to particular classes. So you can play as anything you like, basically. I am playing, personally, as an undead fire mage, pretty much, and I'm having tons of fun doing that. Oh god, I look a little screwed now. It's only around, what, 4, 5? Around 6. So now there are those numbers. And, oh, there we go. I'm not as screwed as I was, because now I have a cannon automaton. Hooray! And the charge coils they just hit the same target. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. But one of those charge coils is fucked. Well, next turn at least. Anyway, Cube World. And it's quite interesting to play. it handles interestingly. Now we can't do any like playthroughs or anything. Oh damn it, got rid of my charge coil. Well, I'm playing against quite the player here. And transposition. Oh, okay, fair enough. Not too bad. And I have an ether pump, so yeah, screw that. But the main, yeah, we can't really record Cube World as it stands, mainly just because of the fact that, well, it doesn't have a Mac version yet. It's been released on Windows, and it's supported from, I think, XP all the way up to Windows 8, but it doesn't have any Mac compatibility, I'm afraid. And since we can only record games with Mac compatibility because we've got a Mac to record on, there's not a lot we can really do about that. So instead, I'm going to tell you about it, because why the hell not? So yeah, it's a pretty fun game. The movement, the number of times where I've gone to run up a set of stairs and go through a door and I've just ended up running the wrong angle, because turning corners in Cube World is hilarious, to say the very least. You end up, the game seems to have physics in place that gives you momentum. So if you've been running for, if you've been moving a character and you're running, you'll slide, or you won't end up, it won't be like corner turns like it is in Minecraft. You'll do a nice curve, which means that if you try to get through a door to up a set of steps, generally I end up running off the steps at the top and sort of sitting there going, right, okay, what next? I've got to go back up the stairs, back through the door. And the keyboard mapping on it is ridiculously nice. I think it's personally quite a joy to play, mechanics wise. I mean, you've got your heads up display shows you what all your abilities are. You've got Q, which is your quick use items. So instead of having to open your inventory and use an item, you've got your quick use, and you can cycle through those using tab, which is quite nice. So your life potions and all that stuff. And there's just a lot to explore and discover in that world. And what I found generally is, if you look hard enough, you can find everything you need. And you start the game with 5 life potions, which I've used all of now. They will heal you for 200 health. And you start off with some basic weaponry. No armour, as far as I'm aware. Well, I'm a mage, and I didn't start with any armour. I've tried a ranger class, and they didn't start with any armour either. So I'm inclined to believe that you don't start with any armour. Ooh, nice removal there. But it's order, I'm fairly sure. Order with 8 resources, I'm fairly sure you can come back from this quite nicely. So yeah, you don't start with any armour that I can fathom so far. I haven't tried the warrior class yet. It might be that the warrior starts with armour, but I'm quite fond of the mage. It's quite difficult to use. The manual aiming is a little bit... It's interesting. It's very interesting. Because the mage, like the fire vortex and stuff that I've got, I kind of have to... You aim the reticule, but there's a distance factor as well. And if you move the reticule while you're casting it, it'll move the spell. Which I personally find quite amusing. It generally means that, for the most part, you've got to really aim and be really good with your aiming to get anything good off. And there's a dodge mechanic as well. I mean, in a game like that's drawn inspiration from Minecraft, the dodge mechanic is really quite cool, because you've got like a third bar, you get health, you get your mana, all the usual role-playing game stuff. You've also got a stamina bar. Now that one doesn't show up all the time, because you only seem to use stamina when you dodge. That's the middle mouse button. If you don't have a middle mouse button, I recommend you get a mouse with a middle mouse button, because dodge is extremely useful, particularly if you're a mage. Because generally, a lot of the creatures that attack you won't shoot at you. They will come right up in your face and they will start wailing away at you. And that can really sting. So the dodge mechanic in Cube World is, personally, I think, brilliant. It allows you to get out of the way of an opposing attack, giving you that vital few seconds. Hell, you can even use it as a way of escaping an opponent just by dodging backwards. And it's kind of a little bit faster than running, I think. It gives you like a damage invulnerability buff for a few seconds, which means if you're surrounded by guys, you can just roll out the way and jump out the way, and you'll generally be fine. No, and you'll be fine basically, which is nice. Ooh, okay, he's got his creatures rolling. It's gonna be annoying. Oh, he's got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff as well, but I've only got one creature. I've got really not a lot that can just take his stuff out straight off. He's dead, but that's going to be about it this turn. That's kind of annoying. Oh well. That's what happens when you're a slow starting energy deck. Now, which is kind of a problem if you're playing against a pretty quick starting energy deck, or someone who can just throw out a lot of creatures all at once. Thank God for removal. That's pretty much all I can say on that point. Now, Cube World also has one other feature that I really want to discuss that I think is really quite innovative. It's a really nice way of doing things, and that's the weapon customization options. Now, I haven't figured out how to get into that yet, but I imagine it's just taking a look around the town that's there and seeing what I can find, seeing if there's a blacksmith nearby that I can do this on. But the way it works is upgrading your weapon, you need to use cubes of material which match the weapon. I think it needs to match the weapon at least. That's the that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it. Now, I don't know how to bring up the interface, but once you do, you have the cubes that you make. In the case of, let's take a sword for example. In the case of a sword, what you generally find is you need iron cubes. Now you can use those and you just attach them straight onto the weapon. It's as easy as that. Now I know, it's a case of, okay, so what does that do? Well, apparently, according to the Chrome website, attaching stuff like that to the weapon itself will upgrade it, give it better stats, give it more damage. At the same time, it shapes it. So you can, in the act of upgrading your weaponry, make it look like anything you want. If you want a Keyblade, so you look like you got a weapon from Kingdom Hearts, go for it. If you want the Breaker Blade from Final Fantasy, whatever number the hell that is, you can have that too. It's quite brilliant. I don't know how it works for a bow and arrow. In fact, I can quite happily tell you I've got no clue, and I'm not entirely sure how it would work with a bow and arrow. I don't know how it works for the mage stuff either. I imagine you just make a wooden cube, and then however you get into the weapon customization, you do it that way. So I'm going to take a play around with that, and I'll let you guys know at some point. Now, here's a point. Metempsychosis. Target unit you control is resummoned on the same tile. I'm not entirely sure what you... actually no. I was going to say I'm not entirely sure how much use that would be, and then my brain kicked in and told me. When a unit is resummoned, it looks like, from the Royal Vanguard there, its health gets completely restored, which is quite the useful trick. It means if you... hell, I could use one of those. Think of what I could do with a Cannon Automaton that was still on full cooldown, but had taken a lot of damage. I could just go, right, bring you back. A good way to get rid of enchantments on them as well. And a good way of getting rid of that goddamn Ranger's Bane. I hate that card. Poisons your unit for 3 rounds, which will do the 1 damage, which goes past armor and everything else. It's really quite annoying. Pardon me, sorry. It's really annoying in that particular part. Oh well, removal will save the day. This I know to be true. But yeah, the weapon customization in Cube World, I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I think it's a brilliant way of upgrading your weaponry. It really adds that personal touch to your weapons. It means that you, unless you decide to follow the same format as every other weapon out there, your weapons will never look the same as someone else's. And now I don't know if you could, but it'd be cool if you could. There's another card that'd be useful for my deck as pushback. I'm not going to do any order bits to my deck. I prefer just pure energy, unless anybody particular out there wants to request it. Again, deck requests. If you guys want me to do a particular deck and use that in the show from now on, I am perfectly happy doing that. It will take me a while to build up the cards to do it, but I am perfectly happy trying to do a new theme deck and working with that. I've got some Gravelocks. If you guys want me to do a Gravelock deck, I could do a bunnies and rat. I could do a rodents deck basically. So bunnies and rats. Although bunnies aren't really rodents, but yeah, I could do a bunnies and rats deck if you want, or a bunny, rats and wolves deck. That I've got no problem with. So let me know in the comments. Message the channel. Just let us know somehow. Oh hell, if you see me on Scrolls, let me know on Scrolls, and I'll do my very best to accommodate that. Right. So I'm hoping actually it'd be quite cool if in the weapon customization part of Scrolls, not Scrolls, Cube World, not Scrolls, if in the weapon customization part of Cube World, if you can move the voxels that are already there around, so kind of take them away and strip the weapon down, and then rebuild it yourself. Because that way, if you wanted, I mean, the warrior starts with this gigantic club, and if you wanted like brilliantly fine, elegant blade of a sword for your warrior, if you could remove the voxels from what's already there, that would be a way to do it. Now, I don't know if that's what you can do or not. I'm personally looking forward to finding out, because it should be quite the experience. Now, ow, okay, I'm a bit outnumbered here. This is going to be rather interesting. Well, I've drawn a lot of M1s. I suppose that's a plus. I can do 2 damage to anything that attacks me every time it does. Of course, with that metempsychosis, if he has more of those, then kinda screwed. Oh well. Let's make it a fight to the death, shall we? In all fairness, I can lose 2 idols and still be with a chance of pulling this back. Anybody can, really. It's only once you've lost your third that you've lost, basically. Which makes sense, considering once you've lost 3 idols, you lose the game. But you can get yourself down to 2 idols. Get yourself down to having 2 idols taken out and still being with a good chance of winning. It just depends on how you play with the cards you draw. I generally am really, really bad at doing that. So if I don't get the correct cards in the correct order, I'm a little bit screwed. Now, I think at the moment that's probably enough for me on Cube World. I'm going to stop talking about Cube World now. You are probably quite sick of it. So I'm going to leave you with that. And, oh, yeah, that's me using a Mac keyboard in the chat there. There's plenty of people going, oh my god, what are you doing? And I was trying to hit the delete button, and it said delete, but it actually put a capital A there instead. So I ended up just replacing the text with a capital A. That was kind of weird. It might just be a bug with Scrolls in that particular fact, or it might be a bug with something else, I don't know, but that was weird. So yeah, I'm going to stop going on about Cube World now. What I will say is it's in alpha, it's $15 currently, or £13. I think it's around £13 anyway. I would recommend, if you enjoyed Minecraft, if you enjoyed the Legend of Zelda games, anything like that, or hell, if you enjoy running around, hitting things with a stick, or setting them on fire in a Minecraft-esque setting, I'd say get Cube World. There's a tech demo to run, so if you're not sure if your laptop gaming, well, if you're not sure if your rig can run it gaming or laptop or not, I would say run the tech demo, because then you can, it's a definite way of saying, yes, my rig can run this. Run the tech demo, and I'd say get it. It's a brilliant game, a brilliant investment, and you will lose yourself for hours in it. In which case, if you don't have hours to lose, I'd say possibly not get it until you do have hours to lose. But either way, I personally think it's a fun game. I think anybody who enjoys Minecraft would also find it a fun game. It's another one at the moment where you make your own fun, which is easy enough. The combat system is brilliant in it. Ow. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to pull back if nothing else. Because as you can see, I don't have a lot of my removal in my hand. I think I may have used a lot of that early on, which is brilliant if you can get an early lead. Not so much if you can't. I shouldn't really have put that there. What am I thinking? No, that was a bad idea. Oh, I got rid of the Simbax at least. And now everything has countdown 0, pretty much. Apart from that one guy up the top. Ow, that's going to hurt. That's really going to hurt. Ow. Yeah, indeed. So, I said earlier on today that I would talk a little bit about DLC, and I'm going to talk a little bit about where I stand on it. Kind of falls on from yesterday's topic, so we did mention a little bit about DLC. So, here we go. And before those of you watching this start yelling at me, who are you to say what's acceptable from DLC and what's not, I'm a consumer. Every consumer has the right to put up what they think about the gaming market. I personally believe that DLC is perfectly fine. If it adds something to the content of the game to extend its shelf life and extend your enjoyment of said game, I personally believe that there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. So long as it's not just money grabbing, it's not just overpowering the player within the game, and so long as it's not content that could have been available from day one. I mean, DLC that comes out the same day as the game is not acceptable. That's just money grabbing by the company. Ow! Frost scale, of course that increases the countdown of stuff, doesn't it? Oh, I hate when that happens. That's actually quite annoying. Plate armor, I think I'm a little bit screwed at this point, but we'll see. I might not be, but I think I quite likely am. So yeah, DLC. If it's available on day one with the launch packet, I don't see why they couldn't have put that straight in the main game. I think it's an utter waste of time getting DLC like that. If that's all that's what it's offering you. That's all it's offering you is just more content for a part of the game that you could have otherwise gone if they just bothered to put it in the main game. It's money grabbing, it's not right. Things like the Life of Dunwall, however, they add more to the game, they extend its shelf life, everything. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I think about DLC. I mean, I personally am responsible for buying quite a bit, like all the Sanctum DLC up to now. I've got the Season Pass of the Sanctum 2 DLC, and that's not anything, none of that was available on launch. Sanctum 1 launched with 3 maps, and its DLC came out in kind of dribs and drabs after that. Brilliant stuff, nothing against that, but it did kind of come in dribs and drabs. Sanctum 2, the Season Pass, was available on day 1. The Season Pass being available is fine, because it specifically stated the entire lot of the DLC wouldn't be until the end of February 2014. Obviously that means they can release it at any point from release up until February 2014, but that, personally, I don't think that's a problem. And, oh, I'm gonna put Metal Heart on the, yay! A Copper Automaton that does 10 damage, just because I can. Brilliant. Now I know I could have killed off one of his creatures like that, with that, but, personally, nah. It seemed funnier just to kill the idol off. Overkill a little bit, but yeah. Now, things like free-to-play business models are interesting, to say the very least. I'm not going to talk a lot about them right now, because I think this is not that far away from me being dead. In fact, yeah, this isn't that far away from me being dead. Oh dear. So free-to-play is a discussion of something that I will bring up in the next Daily Scroll. And you got that to look forward to, really. And now, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy my demise, because I don't think that's too far off. Are they turning over the turn? There we are. And that's me dead. Ow. And you see, I got a lot of gold for that. Again, double gold is brilliant. So I would have got a 90, but I ended up getting 180 overall, which is quite nice. And unfortunately he left before I could thank him for playing. However, I do know that they added me as a friend afterwards, so a nice shout out to Necrolust for adding me as a friend. I think that's all we've got time for. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.